welcome back to another gadget report. Let's talk gadgets. And today we're not talking gadgets, we're talking sardines. And you must be thinking, what do sardines have to do with gadgets? Well, it has to do with traveling. And although we are in September and this usually happens, so it does happen in June, I'm talking about something that happens every June in Portugal, um, and in this particular case, Lisbon, and it is a celebration. It is a very important celebration, and everybody loves it, tourists and locals alike. And I'm talking about Saint Anthony, or in Portuguese, Santo Antonio, and which is like a huge festival of dance, sardines, people on the street, and it's amazing. So let's talk about Santo Antonio. Come with me. So, if you were born in Lisbon, like myself, when you talk about Santo Antonio, you know what I'm talking about for sure. And it's all about sardines, it's all about barbecue, it's all about a nice cold beer, it's all about music, and it's all about the marchas, which is a very, very traditional event that happens in Lisbon every single year. It is on the 13th of June. It's a public holiday in Lisbon because it's the day, so it's the council day, so it's like the official day of Lisbon because Santo Antonio or Saint Anthony is the patronal saint of Lisbon, and therefore that day is the day of the city as well. And overnight, so in the night of the 12th to the 13th, there's a huge event called Marchas, which is an event of dance and, beautiful dressed up people and all this parade, a huge parade on the main avenue of Lisbon called Avenida da Liberdade. Everyone is there, the TV is there, of course. Everyone is enjoying. Then you go to all the the touristic and the old neighborhoods, and you have sardines and you have your beer and you have all the food, and it's an event itself. It's really an enjoyable event. So let's talk about this. No one really knows the origins of this celebration. Usually it's called Santos Populares, or folk saints, or popular saints. And it's celebrated in Lisbon, and it's celebrated in Oporto with São João, Saint John, and it's also São Pedro, which is celebrated in other places in Portugal. But nobody really knows the origins of this. Some claim that it has pagan origins due to the similarities with those pagan festivities. This is quite likely because we know that most of all the festivities with religious connotation these days, they all come from pagan festivities that were adapted in the times of Christianity, and then they started being celebrated and took a more religious connotation and meaning. So it is possible that it actually is a pagan feast. It was at that time that was also celebrating the crops and all these celebrations. So it's quite possible. Today, as I said, is and I'm going to talk about Lisbon because it's the one I know about, is the one I lived for 30 years, so that's the one I've got more information about. I'm talking about Saint Anthony or Santo Antonio, which is the patronal saint of Lisbon, as I said. And what does happen is that Lisbon people celebrate with a massive barbecue. I mean, sardines. Sardines are are in season in June. That's the best season for sardines. People love sardines, except for me. I don't really like them. I prefer mackerel. And what they do, everywhere around the city smells of barbecue sardines and mackerel and all other things. They, like uh, ribs and pork belly, everything. You will see all these barbecues all over the city, everywhere. Um, each little, I wouldn't call it suburbs, but I would call it neighborhoods. I'll call it little local councils, because in Lisbon and in Portugal you have the council, which is the Lisbon Council, and then you have little neighborhoods that have their little tiny little local government, I would call. It's difficult to explain, since we don't have anything like this in, for example, in Australia. So and each one of these neighborhoods will have their stalls, will have the festivities, and that because there is a competition between all these neighborhoods in Lisbon, and they prepare the parade. So they go out with these amazing costumes. They have a theme. They choose a theme, and then they create all these costumes with that team. And they go on the march with archers that also have all that, and the symbol of the city. They must have Saint Anthony in one of the arches. In another arch, they must have the logo of the city, so the symbol of the local council. All of these must be featured, and they have to march with dances, with music, and each of these neighborhoods will have one march, and then there's a jury that is going to choose the best of them all, and then each year there is a winner. This is one of the things, and it's one of the major events. It shows on TV, so the entire country can watch. It is a very loved event, and obviously the tourists love it. It happens on the main avenue of Lisbon, called Avenida da Liberdade, or Liberty Avenue. And it's beautiful, because if you go to Lisbon, if you have had the opportunity of visiting Lisbon, you'll see that you have the main avenue, and it's a bit like the Champs-Élysées. You have the main avenue, and then you have two lateral streets. So you have a bit of footpath with trees all over the place in these two strips of footpath, and then you will have more trees on the other side. So it's full of trees. Is a beautiful. Actually, that avenue is really 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 beautiful, and then they just go up to the Marquês Pombal roundabout. That's the end of the showing, and then all of them have to march, and at the end of the night, one will be chosen. Another thing that also happens in this day, it's the Saint Anthony weddings. It was a tradition, and because they say that Saint Anthony is the paternal saint of lovers and weddings and all of that, every year they have this thing. They had it for many years, and then they stopped. I remember that when I was growing up, this wasn't an event at all, and then they started doing it again, which they call the Saint Anthony brides, or noivas de Santo Antonio. And back in the day, it was those people that were more disadvantaged and may have not have enough money to organize a wedding themselves. The councils or the authorities will help them out, and this would be an event, and they would all be married together. They have a limited number of guests that they would invite, and everything would be done together. Then it stopped, as I said, and then in around, I think it was late 80s, early 90s, they came back with this event again. This time, not for those who are more disadvantaged, but for those who want to apply. It would show on TV, Again, it still have limitations in terms of guests. It will go on TV. All of this, I think, is 12 or 13 couples would be married at the same time. And they would be called the St. Anthony brides. I remember back in the day, there was all these regulations, including that the bride need to be a virgin. That was one of the things. Obviously, these days that doesn't happen anymore, but it was one of the requirements to be part of this. Don't tell me how they would check that, because I don't know. And obviously, it's one of the things that happen. And the sardines. The sardines are the center of the show, I would say. And what do? They just grill the sardines in the charcoal, and then you have cornbread. The traditional way is cornbread, and they would have this cornbread called broa, and they put the sardine on top, and then all that oil from the sardine falling into the bread, and you just eat it like that. Some people get a little pickish because of the fish bones, but what you do, you just have it on the bread, and you just pick the fish, the flesh of the fish, and then you just take the bone and you check it out. And that's how people eat the sardines. That's how they usually eat it. That's the traditional way. You can do it with normal bread as well. They put it with normal bread. Some people may not like the cornbread, which is quite unusual among the Portuguese, because I can assure you we all love it, but everyone is different. And you also have, for those who don't like it, like me, you will have carapau, which is the Spanish mackerel. I'm not sure if you will find it on these events, on the stalls on the street, because most of the people go for the sardines. But of course, if you go to a restaurant, you can ask for the Spanish mackerel, and I love them. I just love them. And then if you go to a restaurant, the way to eat them is you have the sardines, you have nice capsicum salad. What it is they roast the capsicums, and then with a little bit of olive oil, and it's delightful. And you put a garden salad on it, some hard-boiled potatoes, and Bob's your uncle, and it's delicious. You can have your pork belly, barbecued pork belly. You can have the traditional bifana, which is like a pork steak in bread. You can have all sorts of barbecued meats, because that's the tradition, of course, all with a nice cold beer. It's a hot night. Usually in June, it's very hot in Lisbon, so it is a feast. It is a feast. It is a celebration. Everyone is happy. No one sleeps on that night. Everyone is out and about, having fun, trying the sardines, going for the marches and seeing who's the winner. And this is big business, because every single of these neighborhoods, they are very competitive. And there is these rivalries between Bairro Alto and Moraria, Penha de França. They all competing against each other, and it's something very, very funny, because they live this. They spend the whole year preparing for this. It's almost like in Brazil, even though please don't compare it, because it's a totally different celebration. But it's I'm talking in terms of preparation. It's almost like in Brazil, that they spend the whole year preparing for the carnival, and all the arches and everything that they need to do that march, to do that parade on the carnival. The Portuguese, and in Lisbon, they do this with the marches. Is a very important thing. They have to prepare the thematics, the costumes that they're gonna wear, the dances, all the choreography must be prepared. It's a lot of work, and all these people obviously are volunteers. Most of them are doing this after work. Of course, they cannot do it during the day, because they have to work. So it's long hours. It's very, very exhausting. But in the end, everyone is happy. Everyone is very, very, very happy to participate. And of course, when your team is the winner, it's a plus. It's obviously a much needed or a much wanted win, and for the whole city, everyone rejoices. Whoever wins, it's like they all against each other. They all very competitive. They all kind of having a rivalry with each other. But once the winner is announced, everyone rejoices, and that's it. This year was, let's say, Moreria. Next year will be Alfama, and nobody cares. Everyone is happy, and that's the good thing. It's that it's a very good tradition. It's something that it's nice, and it shows the happiness. It shows the culture. This is the real culture of Portugal. This is the real culture of Lisbon. It's this happiness. It's the marches. It's the sardines. It's summer. It's all of this. And seriously, if you visit Lisbon, visit in June and enjoy Sant Antonio, enjoy the Santos Populares. Then on the 24th of June there will be São João in Oporto, which is it's slightly different, the celebration there, but it's also very, 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 very good. So enjoy it, because it is something really nice. I hope you will take my advice and you will go there next year. And that's all for today. Are you ready for a sardine already? I cannot say I am because I don't like them. But I can assure you it's really good. The festival itself, the the ambience, the all the people, the happiness. It's so good. It is a night that nobody sleeps in. Everyone is tired, but nobody cares. It's summer and everyone has a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I used to do it with my friends when I was living in Lisbon, and it used to be so nice, and we used to have so much fun. It is crowded. Expect a lot of crowds because it's gonna be all the locals and all the tourists together. So everywhere you go, it's gonna be crowded. There is no way you can avoid it. It is the way it is. But it's one of those days that you just forget about the crowds and you just enjoy the day. So I hope you really like it. Have you ever been to Lisbon when this is on? Are you a Lisbon person like me? Are you born in Lisbon? And what do you do on this day? Do you stay at home and you watch everything on TV and you do your own barbecue with your friends and family, or you just go out and about and you enjoy it with everyone else? Let us know what you do. Let us know. Do you know anything about the origins of this celebration? Do you know? Share with us. And of course, are you planning to go there? Tell us about it. What do you think? And put a like on the video and subscribe the channel with a little click on the bell so you get a notification of a new gadget report every week. Before I go, I would like to thank you all for watching. See you next week. Have a good one. Bye.